Good morning, everyone, and welcome to another early morning 7 a.m. podcast of Political News Time. And I am your lovely hostess, Alex Mayers. This week already has been quite a week in politics. There were a few things that I wanted to touch on this morning that I was thinking about last night, so I figured I would talk about it on here today. And I hope that all of you out there are having a wonderful morning. I might look a little different. Yes, I straightened my hair. I know now I look probably a little more, exotic perhaps, but can't do it all the time, but I can sometimes. Do I get paid for this? No. I just like talking about politics and I like talking about news and current events. For me, doing podcasts is a way for me to keep my mind active, keep my presentation skills up to a certain degree. So that's why I do it. Also, I think that there's a lot of young people out there, especially young people of color, who may not be aware as to what's going on in the world, and they might come across my podcast and maybe I can, spark their interest in politics, because we definitely need a lot more politicians of color in the future. We need a lot of people of color in general to use their brains a lot more when it comes to just how society works, because I think that if more people of color who are young were aware of politics, legislation, economics, business, and whatnot, we would not be dealing with this rise in white supremacy right now. That's something that is of concern to me. So just as a single woman, I'm doing my part. So no, I don't get paid for this. So anyway, this morning I want to start by touching on the element of white nationalism a little bit and how it's a problem in our society, but how we currently do have a politician, a woman of color known as Kamala Harris, who is attempting to do something about it. Now, this is a story that I found on usatoday.com, and it's titled, "White Nationalists Could Have Firearms Taken Under Red Flag Law Proposed by Kamala Harris." I'm just going to read a few paragraphs of this story to you. Kamala Harris on Wednesday said if elected president, she will press Congress to pass a red flag law that would allow law enforcement officials to temporarily seize the firearms of white nationalists that may be on the verge of carrying out a hate crime. The Democratic presidential candidate's proposal calls for the creation of domestic terrorism prevention orders that would give law enforcement and family members of suspected white nationalists or domestic terrorists the ability to petition a federal court to temporarily restrict a person's access to guns if the person exhibits clear evidence of being a danger. This is a good move, in my opinion, and I've been on the fence when it comes to Kamala Harris. Anyone who watches my podcast, you know that about me. I have been more of a proponent for Marianne Williamson and Elizabeth Warren, but this particular campaign promise from Kamala Harris, it's starting to, pull me in to her camp, because I personally have dealt with white nationalist terrorism on a personal level over the years. I have had my life threatened. I've had my family's lives threatened. Several online hate sites have come after me and my family, and law enforcement has done very little. Some of the people behind the hate sites have actually posted photographs of themselves with firearms. So if what she's proposing were to come to pass, that would be a benefit to somebody like me, who is outspoken politically and who just frankly does not feel that she deserves to be terrorized by a bunch of jerks who feel so insecure within themselves that the only way that they can feel good about themselves is by calling themselves a white supremacist or a white nationalist. So go Kamala Harris. You're starting to pull me into your camp. I like that. And everyone out there, make sure that you do take a look at the current Democratic political candidates, because there's a bunch of very interesting ones. There definitely are. All right. Now, the next topic that I wanted to move on to has to do with a jerk known as Steve King. And I feel bad for the author, Stephen King. actually, being that he has to share a name with this jerk. And hey, everybody, good morning. I hope all of y'all are doing well. Remember that I am trying my best to be here daily at 7 a.m. just to do a little political roundup real quick. You know, just kind of start our days off right so that some of you out there are informed about what I'm informed about. So anyway, this is on CNN.com. Steve King questions if there would be any population left if not for rape and incest. I actually first saw this headline when a friend of mine, known as NYC Funk, retweeted it on Twitter. And I thought that it was a parody headline. I thought that this was something that was on The Onion or something. I thought there's no way in hell that there's going to be some man, as racist as he may be, as misogynistic as he may be, there's no way that any representative in government is going to say something along these lines. But yeah, Steve King did. I'll just read the first few paragraphs and then I'll share my thoughts on this atrocity. GOP rep Steve King of Iowa questioned on Wednesday whether there would be any population left on Earth if not for rape and incest. A remark that has drawn condemnation from both Democrats and Republicans. Quote, "What if we went back through all the family trees and just pulled those people out that were products of rape and incest? Would there be any population of the world left if we did that?" End quote. He said in Urbandale, Iowa, according to a video posted online by the Des Moines Register, which was first to report on the remarks on Wednesday. Yeah. No, I am not a teacher, but it's funny that you say that. My mom was a teacher for many years, so I think I picked up her habits. Quote, "Considering all the wars and all the rape and pillage that has taken place, I know that I can't certify that I was not a part of a product of that," end quote, King said. Quote, "I'd like to think that every one of the lives of us are as precious as any other life," end quote, he added. Already, I'm just done reading that. If y'all want to read it, you can check it on CNN, okay? Already, in America, we are dealing with increased misogyny due to the Trump administration. Already, there are countless women, thousands every year, that are victims of the horrific crime of rape, okay? And this man is going to have the nerve to try to justify rape and not just that, but incest as well. I kind of saw this coming for years, and I'm going to tell you why. Some of you out there may not be aware, but for several years, I'd say from about 2011 up until last year even, I was one of the most notorious, really, bloggers in regards to political issues within the adult entertainment industry. And something that I noticed, especially over the past couple of years, it actually started to increase upon Trump coming into office. There was an increase in adult material that featured the depiction of incest and the depiction of rape. I'm actually working on a little bit of a movement right now to relabel horrific acts of abuse depicted in the adult entertainment industry as abusography rather than pornography, because pornography is one thing. It has artistic merit, but anything that depicts abuse, that's not sexy, that's not cool, and that does not need to be encouraged. But I noticed that there was a trend and an increase in that kind of material being produced. Then we all witnessed the Brett Kavanaugh situation in politics, right? To where you have this powerful white male who was accused by a multitude of women for being sexually aggressive toward them, raping them, all kinds of stuff. Yet they're all dismissed, right? Their claims dismissed. You know, everyone, of power just turned a blind eye to the whole situation. So that further instilled a rape culture within America. Now we have this man, and then let's not forget that there's quite a few Republicans trying to repeal abortion legislation right now. So basically, you have a bunch of powerful males, namely white males, who are Republicans in society, who, for whatever reason, want to be able to rape women, possibly even their relative, and then restrict them from being able to attain an abortion. Does that make any sense to anybody? No, it doesn't. It's sick. It's sick, it's sad, and it's something that I would like for young women out there to be aware of and to fight back against. Because, you know, sometimes as people, we think that our rights are just rights that we're entitled to, but you always have to fight for your rights, especially as a woman and especially as a person of color. So I want everyone to remember that. Actually, I was catching up with The Last Word with Lawrence on MSNBC the other night, and the New Mexico U.S. Representative Deb Haaland, she made some very poignant remarks in regards to Steve King. So make sure that all of you check that out. But that's about it for this morning. I've got to get going. I hope all of you enjoyed this particular podcast. And I'll be back tomorrow, 7 a.m. right here on Political News Time. If you'd like to see the archives of this little podcast I do, just go and check out politicalnewstime.com, or you can check out pntlive.net. Again, I am Alex Mayers. Have a great day.